Hi, this is Tracie DeMars of the Remax Equity Group, and happy September. This week I want to talk about a phrase that realtors hate. I can't say we hate it as much as, "Oh, I'm sorry, we went with somebody else," but it's pretty close. Back on market. When people see a home come back on the market, it's a stigma attached to it. It's like, "Ooh, why is that home back on the market? Is there something wrong with it?" Not necessarily. Right now, we are seeing a lot more back on the markets, and this kind of happens sometimes, especially when we get multiple offers on homes a lot and people start getting cold feet. So, when a home comes back in the market and you're interested in it, you send it to your agent. Hey, this home came back in the market. It just popped up. Can you tell me anything about it? As a realtor, what's going to happen is this. We're going to look at, well, how many days was it on the market before it went pending? Because if you're looking at a home that says back in the market and it says, oh, well, Zillow or Redfin says this home's been on the market for 40 days. It really wasn't. It might have only been on the market for 4 days. They had multiple offers, and then maybe something happened to the buyer's financing. I've actually got one recently. We went on the market mid-July, end of July, and we had 4 offers and we accepted one and we got through a home inspection just fine. We even got through the appraisal. The appraisal's done. The appraisal's actually in $15,000 higher than what the home is listed for. And 10 days before closing, the buyers lost their financing. What does this mean? That means the buyers can't buy the home. And unfortunately, it means that we are back on the market. That's a tough one. So when a home comes back in the market, a realtor is going to pull up the house, pull up the listing, and we're going to kind of follow the timelines. Sometimes homes come back on the market shortly after the home was, the offer was accepted. I have another one that happened to that this week. We had put the home on the market last week. We had 3 offers. We accepted one. Within 36 hours, I got an email from the other agent letting me know that, hey, here's the termination. The buyers lost their financing, and we didn't even do the home inspection, so we had to go back on the market. And then sometimes homes do fall through because something comes up with the home inspection. So as a realtor, we're going to pull it up. Now, if the home fell through and went back on, went pending and then back in the market within 3-4 days, that's normally something along as maybe buyers got cold feet. And they're still calling a legal reason to back out. Maybe they got cold feet, maybe they lost financing, maybe there was a job change, sick, whatever happened before the home inspection was done, the buyers pulled out. Sometimes homes go back on the market within 8 to 13 days. Now, anytime we were like between that 6, 7, 8 days, and then up to like 13, 14 days, that's a question of, did it go back on the market because of a home inspection? Was a home inspection done? Did the buyers ask for a repair that the sellers weren't willing to do? Did something come up that might have been a material fact? Now, if something comes up at a home inspection that is disclosed to the seller's agent and it's a material fact, meaning something that's going to affect the safety or condition of the home or the occupants, in the home, then that is a material fact. And that is something that needs to be disclosed if the agent knows about it. Sometimes they don't. So, but anytime we see something between like say day 7, 8 to day like 13, 14, that might have been an inspection issue, in which case we're going to contact the other agent and say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller's agent, was an inspection done? Why did it fall through? I have a client's buying a home right now where it literally came back in the market on day 10. And there was a home inspection done, and the previous buyers had concerns about the fiber cement siding, which is why they backed out. Which is how also I know what happened, because the other agent disclosed, hey, they did an inspection, they had concerns about the fiber cement siding, this is why they backed out. So for our home inspection, just to keep my client's mind at ease, we brought in the home inspector, we did a sewer scope, and we also brought in a siding inspector just to kind of take a quick look at a siding. And he's like, yeah, there's some boards that are cracked. Basically, they put nails in the wrong places and it's a cement board, so it cracked. These should probably be replaced or caulked and then repainted. My clients are totally cool with that. We still got a little bit of an extra closing cost because, yes, there's a way to get closing costs instead of doing repairs. The sellers are offering us some closing costs that my client's going to have that done later. So that's why that home came on the market. But days between like 6, 7, 7, 8 to days 13, 14, that might have been an inspection issue. Once we get to the later part of a contract, and you think your contract's probably about 30 days, if a home goes back on the market or fails sales in that end part, days usually between 20 to day 35, that's going to be a financing issue. It could be a loss. It could be a low appraisal. Maybe the appraisal came in low and the buyers weren't able to make up the difference or didn't want to make up the difference and the sellers didn't want to come down. Now, in that case, if it was an appraisal issue, that would be disclosed. Hey, home appraised at this price. This is how much we can sell it for. If someone's got an FHA. Remember, an FHA or a VA appraisal will stick to the home for 6 months. So if an FHA or VA appraiser appraises the home at a certain value, they can't sell it for any more than that for like 6 months, unless the seller then turns around and gets a conventional buyer or a cash buyer. Cash buyer appraisal doesn't matter. A conventional buyer, because it's a different loan type, will actually order a new appraisal and the home can appraise at a different price. I had that happen earlier this year where we had one appraiser who was a little bit of a Hitler and appraised it low, and my clients weren't willing to come down to that price. The buyers, of course, didn't want to pay for that price. So we went back on the market, got a conventional buyer, and sold it for $20,000 more than the previous buyers were going to buy it for, and it appraised. So, yeah, like I said, appraisals. Hitler, Captain America, we don't know who's coming out. But there's that. So normally when we come to the end part, day about 20 or so is usually might be an appraisal issue. Sometimes it is a financing issue. I have one client who we went on the market end of July. We had 4 offers. We accepted one. We're through a home inspection. We're through appraisal. The appraisal came in $16,000 higher than the list price is. And then 10 days before closing, I got a notice from the buyer's agent where the buyers lost financing and they were struggling to find a new lender. Unfortunately, it wasn't going to work. Something showed up. And how does that happen? Because they're pre-approved, right? Oh, a pre-approval can be catchy. A pre-approval is better than a pre-qualification. However, the problem with a pre-approval is there's still things that can come up later, with the underwriters and stuff like that. And that's normally at the very end. And that's what happened in this case. There was something that was on her file, one of the buyer's files, that didn't show up on their credit reports and stuff. And unfortunately, that is more of a rare issue, but sometimes it does happen. So what does this mean for buyers and sellers? 2 things. One, don't start moving in mentally until you get the keys in your hand. And for sellers, until the funds have transferred and the deed is now recorded into the new buyer's name, anything can happen. We're going to do everything we can to hopefully prevent something like this happening. Sometimes homes fall through early. Buyers get cold feet. We talked about that. Sometimes homes fall through at a home inspection. Sometimes it's better to give up a little bit to keep a deal going than to go back in the market and trying to find another buyer. Sometimes, not always, but sometimes. But when homes fall through at the very end, because of an appraisal or something that came up with the underwriting or something like that, there's not a lot we can do about it. That's just more rare, and it's more of a kind of oh crap, let's find a new buyer. This is about back on the markets though. Sometimes homes come back on the market and your realtor, a buyer's realtor, is going to be contacting the seller's realtor to say, hey, why did it come back in the market? Back in the market, homes aren't bad. Sometimes they can give you an edge. Maybe the buyer has got another house or the seller's got another house under contract that they need this home, get another offer on it, soon, so they can move forward with the home they're still purchasing. If the home's got an inspection issue, what was it? Is this something that can be resolved? There's a lot of things, but for buyers, don't be afraid of back in the markets. As a seller, sometimes back in the market does happen. And that is something you need to talk to your realtor about. Hey, what are we going to disclose? How are we going to market this? What are we going to do to find a new buyer? What kind of a position are you in as a seller? Do you need to sell right away? Or what do we need marketing strategy wise to get us another buyer, as soon as possible? Or can you wait? There's a lot more to it. Remember, there's 28 people involved in the purchase and sale of a home. 28 people. And for a contract to be signed around, a couple things have to happen. 1, you have to have an offer. 2, the offer has to be signed around and terms agreed on by both parties. So both parties have to agree to the terms, and you have to have signatures by both parties. And 4, that has to be delivered to the buyers and the seller's realtor. So both the buyer's realtor and the seller's realtor, whether there's counteroffers or anything going back, both have to have a copy of the signed around purchase sale agreement. That's when we're pending. Just because we're pending, though, doesn't mean everything goes through. Back in the market, fail sales can and will happen sometimes. If you have questions, please feel free to give me a call anytime. 360-903-3504. Other than that, have a great day.